All right, and of course, later on in this show, we will be having a conversation around the budget itself, what to expect, what are the hits and misses, and also what is likely to change. Of course, with previous budgets, one of the things that we have been seeing is the fact that we get a supplementary budget. Is that something that we should expect? My guests are already in studio, and that conversation will be coming up later on. But first, let's have a look at some of the stories making headlines this afternoon in the world of business. Now, Kenya Airways CEO Alan Kilavuka appeared before the Public Debt and Privatization Committee today to answer questions on the 2017 national government guarantee provided for the restructuring of KQ. Kilavuka further provided insights into Project Kifaru, under which the government has been providing budgetary support for the airline. KQ is currently in the process of identifying a financial advisor to help develop an investor memo for the selection of preferred investors.
And during the supplementary budget, just the immediate one, we actually did approve 14 billion for you, the government. Looking at now the projections, there's a proposal this year to give you about 17 billion. The next year about, this year, the coming year, 17, and then another 18. So those projections are there, and you can see there's a lot of money coming from the government. So when you see us asking these many questions, it's just to make sure that that public interest is actually considered as we do our deliberation.
You said it, the balance guarantee covered by the National Treasury 403, but you have put it a loan balance of 439. But the difference is yours is 31st May and the National Assembly is 30th of April. You mean if you minus $439 million minus 403, you mean that 36 million. Is it a penalty? Is it default charges? And how is it calculated?
What was so difficult about KQ walking into Boeing and through a government guarantee, which anyway the government gave to the bankers, to the syndicate of banks, what was so difficult about you walking in and purchasing this on credit and written by the government? Because in any case, that is what happened.
What is the plan to stop them from grounding us? Because they are not guaranteed. And I have to confess, it has been an extremely difficult exercise to contain all these creditors and explaining to them what we are doing and to give us time. But I am also glad to report that they have also been extremely understanding. In particular, Samburu, for example, they have given us a lot of moratorium and time because of the time and the plan that we've laid out before them, which is this Project Kifaru we are referring to. So they believe in the plan. They believe that we will have time to be able to repay them. 2 out of 36, we have 2 full. That is fully paid aircraft. Mm-hmm. The projections of both Savo and Samburu was that we will finish paying it in 2026, upon which title will now transfer to Kenya Airways. We have 65 billion shillings worth of capital in the company, and indeed it is true. That is why we are looking for capitalization. Remember, I said we are undercapitalized. That one is clearly an indication of undercapitalization, and I would even argue that this capitalization should have happened in 2017, quite frankly, or even 2012. That is when we should have capitalized the company. So that is why, and actually, maybe I should say this, Chair, when we were doing the let's say, I don't want to call it a roadshow, but let's just call it a roadshow for this sake. When we went to China and these other places, all the potential investors that we spoke to agreed that the fundamentals of the company are very strong. Their concern was the debt level. And that is why a good strategy would be if you can remove the debt or reduce the debt, and then you get extra funding into the company. And then that funding is used for expansion. The value of the company would come back, and in fact, Honorable Mandoku would be able to sell his shares or trade with his shares because the company will be a lot more viable. And so that is the thinking right now. So recapitalize the company, it will have much more money, and people can start trading with it in the stock exchange, including even the funds that the public has lent to Kenya Airways.
All right, and of course, our